What's up everyone, OJ here, welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at Darksiders Genesis on the Nintendo Switch. Darksiders Genesis is a very interesting game because unlike the previous games in the Darksiders franchise, this one takes the route of a isometric Diablo style of game instead of a 3D action game like God of War or Ninja Gaiden. And in this game, it actually goes all the way back before the original game. That's why it's called Genesis. It's the beginning, so it's a prequel to the original Darksiders. So you don't have to play Darksiders 1, 2, and 3 in order to get into Darksiders Genesis, and that's pretty cool. Considering the change of style and everything, I think that it was a good call to do that. Now the story is typical Darksiders fashion. You have the Council, you have Strife, who's the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, but then you also have War, which will be joining you for this one for some co-op action, or you can alternate characters as well if you're playing by yourself. Essentially, Lucifer's trying to disrupt the balance between heaven and hell and the powers that be, and the Council is always looking to balance everything between that. So they send you, the trusted disciples of the Council, in order to take care of the problem. And that's the basic premise of the story. It's nice, it's sweet, it's simple, and there's twists and turns all along the way. And you can even check your journal to make sure that you know every single thing that's going on at any point. It has a very good story, and the voice acting is right on point between Strife and War, and I really think that with the voice acting, it creates a nice dynamic between Strife, because Strife is a very witty, silly type of horseman, whereas War is very serious and always for the Council. So you can think of Strife kind of like Nathan Drake, right? He's a very just silly, happy-go-lucky type of person, but will put a bullet in you as fast as possible if he doesn't feel like waiting. Doesn't really have much patience for anything either. So I think that it's pretty cool, especially when they start talking to each other in certain segments of the game. Now, getting into the most important thing when it comes to a Diablo-style game, isometric view action, is the gameplay. How does this game shape up on the Nintendo Switch? How does it play in portable mode in addition to docked mode? So I originally started playing the game in portable mode, and the resolution probably isn't too great. Now, I'm not Digital Foundry, so I can't hook up any types of machines and see what the resolution is, but it didn't look too great in portable mode. It works well enough, and it's not like it's the worst looking game in portable mode, but I did notice that it was a bit fuzzy here and there. Now, I did play the second half of my playthrough in docked mode, and it looked much better. And also in portable mode, there was some skips here and there. Now, it didn't happen often. For the most part, it was smooth, but once I went into docked mode, everything pretty much was just enhanced. It looked better in terms of the resolution, the detail was better on there, and there was no frame rate skips or really anything. But I want to just make sure that I stress that there wasn't like there was huge frame rate skips or huge problems in portable mode. There was just a couple hitches here and there, and sometimes it was out of combat, so it wasn't really in combat, so it shouldn't affect you too much if you're planning on playing this on a Nintendo Switch Lite or playing the game in portable mode the most. But for the majority of my playthrough, it was in docked mode with a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. And I do feel that while the controls work well enough in portable mode, sometimes you accidentally have your thumb hitting the analog stick, the right analog stick, and it causes Strife to start aiming with his guns. Whereas it's much easier to control the game when you have a Nintendo Switch Pro controller and you're playing it right there with the nice large buttons and the spaced analog sticks. So to me, it plays better in docked mode, although it's completely playable in portable mode. And that's good to know because the game is actually a blast to go through. If you've played the Darksiders games before in the past, you know about all the different abilities and upgrades that you can get. This is not a linear type of game with not a lot of branching options and intrinsic growth. This has a lot of stuff that you can do in order to power up your characters between Strife and War, and I absolutely love that about the Darksiders games in the past, and this Darksiders game is no exception. You can slay all sorts of demons with all different types of amazing attacks. You have melee attacks, you have launches into the air doing air combos, you have gun attacks, almost kind of like Devil May Cry-ish, when you're Strife, because he's the gunslinger of the bunch. And then you have the power with War as well. You have your Wrath meter in order to unleash powerful gun attacks or powerful physical attacks with War. It's a lot of fun to just kind of destroy enemies and do crowd control. And the controls are very smooth and very slick. I never felt like I was fighting with the game. Sometimes with some of these action games, you're like, oh man, I accidentally pressed this. It kind of caused an issue. But this game never really fought with the controls at all, outside of a little bit in portable mode. When I was playing Doctor with the Pro Controller, it was really good and also smooth as well. You can just take down enemies and it feels good to collect. This game has a ton of collecting and upgrading. Anytime you take down certain enemies, they'll drop these little tokens, and basically that powers up a grid that you can use in order to make War and also Strife more powerful. You can also go to the hub world that you do have, and you can upgrade from there, getting new combos and also getting new aerial maneuvers between War and also between Strife. So it's really cool with the amount of different things you can do in order to upgrade and enhance your character. Now, when I was playing through the game, the music, the sound, all of the presentation stuff, the sound effects, everything was really, really good and high quality. It's typical Darksiders. It's brutal. It's fun. It's visceral. When you do a finishing attack, you really kind of get him there. You can hear it, and it's really nice. The animations and the sounds and everything all lines up. The comic book aesthetic and feel, it really does feel like a full Darksiders game, but just done in a little bit of a different way. And the developers did a really good job of crafting the story and gameplay, sounds, everything is intertwined, so it feels just like the Darksiders games, even though it doesn't look like a typical Darksiders game. And that's very important, especially when you're going down from like Darksiders 3, that's an Unreal Engine 4 game, it's all big and everything like that. Everybody's expecting a certain thing with Darksiders games, and then you go to this, you have to make sure that everything kind of feels just right with this franchise, and I think that they nailed it here. You're not going to feel that this is out of place. You're going to feel like the combat is very intuitive and it's very in line with what you'd play in a Darksiders game. And Strife, to me, is the best Horseman of the Apocalypse. Honestly, I think he is, just because he's so much fun to use with those twin guns. He's so much fun to kind of go through and take people down and do all sorts of air combos and shoot people and everything. And the dynamic between switching characters actually adds an element that I didn't know that I wanted to the Darksiders franchise. Usually when you're playing Darksiders games, you want to play as that one character. You have Death, or you have War, you have Fury, and you're playing as that character. And I never felt like, maybe we should play as another one. But this one actually adds a really cool dynamic between them. And I kind of want to see that come back in all of the Darksiders games, to where you can switch between the different four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, because it's just fun to be able to use War whenever you need that brute strength and power for certain boss battles and missions. But then if you need the range, you can swap over to Strife and get it done there. I mean, heck, he even has like a Kamehameha beam that he can upgrade to as well. So everything that they've done with this game really does fall in line with the Darksiders franchise. If you're into Darksiders, or if you're into Diablo, this is definitely a must-play game in my opinion. It's crafted very well, the controls are smooth, the gameplay is very fun, there's tons of upgrades and unlocks, and there's difficulty. It has online co-op, it has offline co-op, so ad hoc gameplay. You can have two Nintendo Switches and you guys can play, and it also has split screen co-op as well, and it's tuned for that. So if you add in somebody else, it does fine-tune things a bit to where it adds in some more enemies, so you're not just like all fighting just to shoot a couple enemies on the screen. Plus, it has customizable difficulty. You can go through and make sure if you want to put it on the hardest difficulty, you can have it there. You can put it on easier, and you can replay missions. So let's say you're not quite strong enough for a certain difficulty. well, you can replay those missions, you can level up, get more stuff, kind of stockpile things, build up your character, then go back in when you're stronger. So it has the complete flexibility in order to match your playstyle and what you want to do in the game. So I had a blast playing Darksiders Genesis. It is a solid port on the Nintendo Switch, and I would definitely recommend it for those who want to get into the Darksiders franchise, because this goes all the way back to the beginning, or those who are looking for a solid action game on their Nintendo Switch. Now, I know not everybody loves review scores, but some people do in terms of a numeric score, so I'm going to go ahead and give it this. I'm going to give it a numeric score, and then I'm also going to recommend it. But if you want a score, the score would probably be a solid 8 out of 10. It's a very good game with a few faults in portable mode with some skips here and there, and there really isn't anything super innovative about the game, but it's still a very good game and you're going to have fun, and the length of the campaign is good. You're going to spend at least 10 to 15 hours playing through, and even more if you want to get everything in the game. So what do you guys think about Darksiders Genesis? Is this a game that you guys want to pick up or play? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description below. We got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a follow on there and stay up to date on all the latest gaming information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.